I want to talk about emotional intelligence as I'm reflecting on the modules that I saw in my training. And so one of the questions were, which one impacted you the most, or which one stood out, has an impact. We'll go with that one, the one with called emotional intelligence. And it was led by an emotional intelligence coach. Her name is Narita Bint. She goes by Nez, Narita Bint. So you can probably look her up. I'm not going to go over everything she talked about. I'm going to talk about certain things and what I think emotional intelligence is for me and my sort of lived experience and why it's important in sales. So before we go dive deeper, I'm just going to read a nice official definition the internet gave me, just so we're on the same page. So it says here, emotional intelligence, EI or EQ, in abbreviation form, is the ability to understand and manage your own emotions and the emotions of others. It involves recognizing feelings, regulating them, staying motivated, and being empathetic to others' emotions, and using these skills to navigate relationships effectively. So Nez came up with these 5 steps to emotional intelligence, and I'm just going to do a quick overview and then I will talk about my reflection in my journey of emotional intelligence. So the first one is emotional attunement. So, for example, like, how do we notice our feelings? Can we label them? Like, okay, I'm feeling sad right now. Okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed. You labeling it is being attuned to your emotions. And this is really helpful because depending on how you grew up, you don't have a label for the things that you experience or for the emotions that you feel. So labeling them is like the first step. And you can use an emotional wheel for this to help come up with a label for the feeling that you're feeling. And the example that she gave in her session was that most people judge themselves when they feel anxiety. So you're feeling the anxiety and then you're judging yourself for feeling the anxiety. It's a lot going on there, right? So by being attuned, you're just kind of feeling it and labeling it. The second one is emotional regulation. So an example would be going to a friend and talking to a friend, having them listen to you, and then you feel better after the conversation because you had somebody listen to you. And the question is, are you being a good friend to yourself? We often don't do this for whatever reason. We can be a good friend to others, but then when it comes to ourselves, we kind of don't see ourselves as like a friend or treat ourselves like a friend. I struggled with this years ago when I started my journey. When I first saw, a professional to talk to, it was a struggle. Like, I was like, okay, no wonder why I'm not like stable or like regulated, even though I seem calm, but in your body, you're not. So it's also hard being a good friend to yourself for whatever reason. But I think as we become more aware of treating ourselves like a person, like ourselves, because I noticed that depending on how we grew up, we're always looking for external validation. They betrayed me. Oh, they did this to me. Oh, this and that. But really, we need to look inward. Why are we feeling the feelings that we're feeling? Why? Because how we grew up, what narratives were told, what stories were told, how our parents treated us, that conditioning, it could be and the way you cope could be to your adulthood, not detrimental, but like the way you would cope as a child wouldn't work now as an adult. And so finding ways to listen to yourself, understand, like journaling can help regulate those emotions. So I used to journal a lot before I had a family, but I still do once in a while when I have quiet time like right now, because our minds go 100 miles an hour. We think so many things. We always think like, does this person like me because I said this or this, like all the things, right? All the things. And so writing it down separates itself from you. So it's in here and then now it's on paper. That's a form of regulation. There's different ways to regulate your emotions. There's EFT tapping, there's meditation, there's walking, there's just closing your eyes. But that's not easy, even though it sounds easy. So being a good friend to yourself, listening and understanding yourself, that is emotional regulation. The third one, emotional safety. So I think we've all experienced all five, well, the ones that I'm talking about. So we've all experienced these. So in Nez's explanation, she says certain people you can tell good news to without judgment. That's kind of emotional safety, right? You pick and choose people who you can tell certain things to. And there's also people you can't tell certain things to because of the way that they're going to react or comments that they're going to say. So our bodies and our minds already know these things. So because we want safety, right, in our environment. And sometimes what we don't know that we're judging. So if you're like a person who like wants to fix people, like you want to help them be better or improve, sometimes we don't realize that we're sort of judging them in that way. And most people just want us to witness them in their pain. So be a good friend, like it's hard because we just want to say like you should do this, you should do that. Yeah. But we need to like hold back and just really listen to the person speaking and listening to the words that they're using and really be present with them in whatever they're revealing or exposing or talking about to you. The fourth one, emotional agility. So I kind of like this one was tough for me too. So basically what it means is once you're aware of that emotion, let's say it's like sadness, right? And it comes up when you drive for whatever reason, right? Because driving is sort of like a meditative state because we're so used to it. So the agility part is you're aware that you're feeling it, you know it's coming, right? And you just kind of let it pass your body. So Nez stated as a statistic that it's lasts 90 seconds in your body. So it lasts for 90 seconds. So the awareness part is like we're aware of it. Okay, it's going to last 90 seconds. Just let it flow through you. Feel the feelings and just let it pass. Most of the time we can't feel it and can't process it. So we kind of just hold it in. We kind of just hold it in and just stay there or just let it build up, right? That's like anger, you know? That's like so I think it like people that are sad just cry. Like I was a crier. Yeah, it just helped like and you feel better after. So yeah. And the last one is emotional connection. Start talking to ourselves the way a friend would talk to ourselves. And then, so I thought that was really a good overview of like the steps. But obviously, it's like really difficult in the beginning, especially if you're just starting your journey and becoming more emotionally aware or this idea of being aware of your emotions and acknowledging them and treating yourself like a friend. So it can be very difficult at first. She also mentioned like an emotional home. So when I started this training, the term emotional home was the first for me. So it basically means how do we feel on a day-to-day basis. And again, you can use the emotional wheel, any emotional wheel for a reference to label your emotion. So for me, most of the time, so the three main emotions are I'm calm most of the time, peace, but yet I can also feel overwhelmed, but not at the same time because I have kids. So, and the overwhelm is not necessarily a negative, it's just the day to day grind. She also has a question, where does safety come from? So, the emotional safety or safety in general. And she says, our childhood, our experiences, our beliefs about who we are, and the way we feel about who we are. So, yeah, so the journey is long, it's hard, and it's a process. So, I think the first step is kind of like labeling those emotions and becoming aware of when they come up. And then she also talked about like relationships, but I'll put her information down if you want to buy her course. It's only, I think it's like less than $30. I can put that somewhere in the notes. I don't get anything from it. I just saw the recorded session. And if you want information, you can contact her. There's also like other ways to regulate your emotion, like EFT, learning NLP, neuro linguistic programming, meditation. It kind of starts like there to regulate. So some people exercise, some people read, some people just sit in quiet. Yeah, I think the main idea is like being in a calm state because when we're in a calm state, we can recognize things without any static in our mind. So, and going back to how this may relate to sales and learning sales. Well, sales is honestly, like it's a life skill. Like there's so many things that sales can develop in you as far as communication. Like it can develop leadership, it can develop rapport, or you can develop rapport, using sales is like the umbrella, and then all these like leadership, communication, rapport, so many things. So, but as far as sales calls, learning remote sales, I think being emotional intelligent with your own emotions is super helpful because you're going to get people. It kind of reminds me of customer service. I go back to customer service because that's pretty much sales, because you get all types of people in customer service. So it really kind of helps you learn yourself how to deal with many different types of personalities, people with different types of tones of voices, and that's pretty much sales. And so you have to be a professional, neutral, and sometimes yet assertive and stern, depending on the situation. And I think that part of my work experience will definitely help me do remote sales. And so this is the whole idea, right? Communication is key to everything. So how we speak, how we interact, body language, tone of voices, pitch, speed of speaking. So, and I think having a regulated emotion definitely helps you become the professional that I want to be. And emotional intelligence not only works in sales, but in your intimate relationships, in your families, with your friends. So, yeah, like I learned this later in life because I didn't really have good caretakers when I was growing up either. A lot of us didn't. So, I'm not unique to it. So, but now, like, I have more emotional space. I can think for myself. I can, be present for my kids and my husband. But yeah, there's definitely room to grow. There's always room to grow. And it's like a journey, a lifelong journey, this emotional intelligence, because we're always working on ourselves. And the key thing that I got from watching Nez go through her presentation was that not everyone's going to be like you, to not everyone's going to be on an emotional intelligence journey, right? Some people don't know what they don't know, and they just act the way they've been acting because they're unaware of how they present. So, I mean, all in all, focus on yourself. Always focus on yourself. Hash out those feelings and when it comes up, and just leave everybody the way they are. The ones that don't want to help themselves, just leave them be. Keep focusing on you because that's the most important part. Even if we're married or have family, whatever the case may be, you only have you. And so we have to take care of ourselves so that we can be the best person that we can be for ourselves and for the close people around us. Like for me, I want to be present for my kids and raise them. And in order for me to do that, I need to, heal my emotional wounds. I need to be aware of when I get angry and how to process that, or when I get sad and how, those different types of short term emotions that don't last very long, because they don't, for me anyway. So, yeah, I hope that was helpful. Emotional intelligence, sales, real life, it all intertwines. This whole idea of communication is in everything. So, anyway, until the next video, thanks again.